Hey everyone, it's Podpocalypse. Today we have the VE33 and VE35 review. So we just threw them on yesterday. They were very easy to put on. They're pretty soft tires, but I wanted to do the usual and go over the tread pattern really quick right before we take it out to see how they perform. Base of the knobs are pretty stiff. The upper part's pretty soft. This is part of the Volcanduro series, so I think it's to be expected that they're going to be kind of gummy-ish because that's kind of the IRC thing. Super soft carcasses all around though. You can just get in here and feel it. I'm a little worried about maybe a stick or something going through it, which I haven't dealt with on these other tires. We got the MX33, AT82. You can see the very distinct difference in pattern here. Got more of the traditional sipe stuff going on with the M5B and the MX and AT tires. Definitely, these are great in soft terrain. I was not the biggest fan of the M5B Evo, mainly because it's got too many soft knobs on it. And I felt like it was rolling and not hooking. I don't know. It was just a weird tire. I'm very much a fan of tires with super stiff knobs. Now, the only downside of the stiff knobs is these two tires don't have that much runtime on them. This has like 30 hours, and you can clearly tell the difference. Now, I think that's because these are actually doing their job more than this one was, but if you're going for longevity, definitely liking the IRC tires so far. I'm worried about this front tire washing out. It's pretty skinny, especially compared to the, even if we squeeze it, I'd say it's about the same actually once you squeeze it in. I'm a little worried about its performance with all of these knobs on the loose stuff, clay, silt, sand. There's lots of that stuff here in St. George, so we'll see how that handles. All right, this is the VE33. This is a 110-118. Very weird, goofy looking tire. You can see it's got a completely different tread pattern. M5B Evo here, AT81, AT82. Those are the last tires I ran. Pretty stiff knobs to be honest, but the carcass itself is very, very soft. I'm worried about poking through this one too, but it should have a ton of grip. You know, when you get all those little pieces of rock and gravel in between here, flex around and hook up with the soft rubber and get going. These tires were incredibly easy to put on. That continues to be a feature, not a bug, of the IRC tires. You can just throw them on. It took me like 10 minutes. It was the fastest I've ever done tires. Very distinct tread pattern. You'll notice here, it's got the opposite. By the way, these are directional. This is correct. And I will even show you really quick so you think I'm not crazy. There it is, drive, boop. It has a reverse formation of the lugs, or whatever you want to call it. So it's not a scoop on this tire, whereas on the M5B Evo, this is directional too, it is a scoop. So obviously this is the soft terrain tire and this is kind of the do everything tire. The one thing I will say is I'm a little worried about this big lug not being enough for the soft stuff. However, there is a big benefit to this design versus this one, which is that you can probably see here all over this tire, it is just chunking like a mother because they're so big, they have so much contact on any kind of hard pack. This just heats up a ton, and that's been a down point. So that's been a flaw of the AT82 and the MX34 for me. I don't actually know what to expect out of this VE33. It's a very, very weird lug pattern. All right, before it gets too hot, we're gonna take it out to the desert and rip around for a couple of hours, and we'll let you know how they do. All right, everyone, you know the drill. So we're gonna take the VEs, the Volcanduros. Turn our fan on. Those are nice. Holy cow, that was awesome. Yeah, whenever these tires touched a rock, it was just smooth linear traction. I'm impressed. Let's keep going. Let's do a brake test. Very nice braking. Not as good as the AT82 or the MX34, but still pretty good. Yeah, the front. The front sucks and loosed up. That's okay. All right, let's christen her. The super soft carcass is taking a bit to get used to. I totally just slid out there. No, it's pretty soft. I don't know. The uphill is really garbage. Not really what they're built for though. More brake test. Let's see if she washes out. Nope. Ah, that was a little squirrely. Did a little bit of a high-speed cross-country section there. I have it at pretty high PSI. I think I'm just going to air it down 1 PSI and see how that does. It keeps kind of rolling and spinning out. Let's try that. That was a little better, to be honest. I think it just had it aired up too much. All right, let's take this through a wash, see how it does. Woo! Swirly! Okay, that was a lot of fun. Holy cow, I did not expect that to be able to go that fast with that many knobs on there. I can feel it if you get caught in a rut and you can actually see, you can see all the dirt packed in there. I find that these two outer rows will kind of carry you up and dig you out of the rut. Not even a sign of wear. All right, we're back. We went out and rode around in the desert for a couple of hours on the VE33 and 35, so let's see what the damage report is. It honestly looks totally amazing, which is to be expected so far from the IRC tires. They really, really have nice rubber. Giggity. So let's talk about the negatives so far. They were very apparent because I kind of expected them going in. Not having a scoopy design for the soft terrain, you can definitely feel it. This tire gets a little bit squirrely when you're riding through clay and silt and whatnot. However, I think this big lug in the center and the ones on the second row outward are pretty large. It actually doesn't do too bad. I will say one of the things I have been doing is I've been biasing, especially on the back tire, I've been always running some kind of soft terrain configuration tire. It was really nice with this tire with the softer sidewall, the softer carcass, which, I mean, you can see I can just push it in. These are very, very compliant and comfortable on hardback, which is something that I've always, well, I guess I've taken it for granted every time because I've always had soft terrain tires and they're usually pretty stiff and they don't have a whole lot of knobs. I feel a lot better about the durability on this when I ride in to do all of my single track trails. I have to probably go about a mile forest road essentially. I don't feel as bad and I don't hear the loud, obnoxious rubber burning away. Definitely a bit of roll with the carcass though. As a 110-100, I would say it's actually pretty wide for a 110-100, which really makes me happy. It's skinny enough where it cuts through the soft stuff. I definitely did not feel the back digging itself up out of ruts. If you've ridden like a crossbite or something, they tend to do that. They're really obnoxious. Really like this tire so far. It's looking like it's going to last a long time too, which I'm a big fan of. I'll probably give it maybe a 7.5 out of 10 for now. And as we ride it, if it maintains its performance without wearing too badly. I think this is a good happy medium between getting a super performant tire and one that lasts a long time. Oh, and I guess one last thing just to reiterate, these are so easy to install, which is a big plus. I change all of my own tires. You can tell. I am a little hesitant to continue running tubes in this. I mean, this is at pretty high PSI and I can just flex it. If I hit a stick or anything, I'm pretty sure it's going right through that thin carcass. Might want to run a moose bib with this. Alrighty, let's head over here to the front. Lots of knobbies on it. It's got the pseudo castle block or whatever, the indented design. Definitely had a crossbite feel on this tire. So I will say I like this way more than the crossbite. This was 60 bucks, so it's about the same price as the crossbite. If you are looking at the crossbite, screw the crossbite. That tire frickin' sucks. This tire is so much better. However, it still does suffer the same fate as the crossbite with the condensed knobbies on the outer second row, and they'll just dig you right out of the rut. Kind of like the feel of a fatty tire. If you've ridden a fatty tire through ruts, they kind of do that same thing where they feel a bit vague and then all of a sudden you're going a direction you don't want to go. So I didn't really like that, but that's about the only negative. Surprisingly competent in sand and clay, but not that great, to be honest. It just doesn't, it's not a needle. There's too much friction with all of these knobs, and so sometimes, especially when you're turning, you'll feel it just slowing down and it wants to wash out. So if you're gonna ride in only sand and only clay, you probably don't want this tire. You probably want an MX-34 or Battlecross, M59, whatever. For the front tire, jury's still out on that. I'd say for now I'm gonna have to give it a middling score, maybe like a 7.5. I'm not sure. I don't like tires that dig out of ruts. There's just something about that drives me crazy. Boom. Volcanduro, checked off the list. If you have any other tire recommendations, I've done a lot of tires now. I've done the M5B Evo. I love trying tires and I love giving people information. So, yep, 7.5 front and back. Until next time.